Hi there, Terry Cain here with another edition of our local leaders. Today we are visiting with Sarah Dudley of Sunscreen Company and L'Italia Products. I hope I said that right.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, please let me introduce you to Sarah. Sarah, welcome.
Hi, Terry. Thanks so much for having me.
My pleasure. So we're talking sunscreen, perfect time of the year to talk about it, and I don't think if everybody's like me, we don't know enough about it and what it does and what kind of SPF and all of those things. So hopefully you will enlighten us and educate us and share some of your knowledge about your business.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always happy to chat sunscreen, and it's definitely, as much as we talk about sunscreen being something that you should use every single day, and people are starting to understand that, people still get excited about sunscreen this time of year, and they do have questions because if you think about it, it's one of those products that you're meant to use every day, potentially from your head to your toe. Use it on your kids, right? And it's almost like toothpaste, right? And there are great sunscreens and there are not so great sunscreens, and that can be really confusing for people.
Absolutely. So what would be the difference between a great sunscreen and average and stay away from?
Yeah, it's confusing because if you go on a drugstore shelf, right, they all kind of say the same things. They say SPF X, broad spectrum. Right. And we always tell people to turn the label around and kind of become a little bit more ingredient focused. So we advocate for mineral sunscreens, so zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. We just find that those have the best protection in terms of, UVA, which we know are the aging rays and also cause skin cancer, and then UVB, which are the burning rays. And really, when we talk about broad spectrum, you want a sunscreen that starts to look almost like clothing, right? You've never tanned through your black jeans. And so, exactly. So as sunscreens get better, and they're not there yet, but one day we're looking to approach that level of protection. So we always tell people, look for mineral sunscreens. In North America, we don't have as many choices. That's the best option for the moment. Look for high concentrations of zinc oxide. So that's the easy rule of thumb. Go to your drugstore, go to your physician office, wherever you buy your sunscreen. Look for something that is as close to 25% zinc oxide as possible. That's the easy rule.
Perfect. So for example, if you went to your local drugstore per se, and talked to somebody there, like an associate there, they wouldn't have the knowledge necessarily that you would have to direct them to that.
It's tough, right? Because there's a lot of misinformation out there. It can be really confusing. Some people say, oh, chemical, physical, what is the best? We always, our company actually started, we have a really unique expert group of people that started the company. So we have a dermatologist who, her practice was in Ottawa. She's been doing it for 40 years and she just retired last year. We have our physician who's an endocrinologist, OBGYN, so a specialty in your hormonal health and the way that impacts things like fertility and OBGYN, so mothers and pregnancy. And then we have our chemist who is our partner, so everything, all of our formulations, we develop them in-house. Wow. And then myself, I'm the marketing and business and day-to-day execution. So when all those voices are at the table, it is a really unique group of experts that kind of all are part of product development.
Right, but you have to be able to speak on both like kind of doctors' terms and translate that into layman's terms for
That's right.
the average person.
It's always that active translation, which is, sometimes people don't want to hear a whole spiel. They want to hear just give me the easy, right? Yeah. It's so complicated. I just want something that's good for my family. So we do try and give it the short run, but we also have to be credible and scientific. So we try and keep up with the best in terms of scientific development.
Of course. And you have a great website that people can go to.
That's right.
And check out and find out more information.
That's right. So, the sunscreencompany.com is our main website, and that is our main business that we do.
Perfect. And why Grimsby?
Yeah, so I'm a Vinelander.
We'll get you to Grimsby soon.
Yeah, a 5-year Vinelander, so still new, but I love this area. I love the Niagara region. We brought our family here because it was so special and we wanted to raise our family here. I have 2 young children, and so when our co-founder, our dermatologist, retired in Ottawa, we're like, okay, this is the time. Let's bring it to our neighborhood, right? What we do, this business that is now wholesale, that's sold globally around the world. Let's bring it here And we wanted to open up the facial studio as like the local extension of our services.
Right.
We've always had services, in the dermatologist office. So without our dermatologist, we're made a little bit softer. So we focus on facials and skincare consultation. And then we have this beautiful retail as well, where we sell some of the best products. Most of them are Canadian brands. We're really lucky.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, to have beautiful brands here in Canada that develop really special products. So we wanted to focus on them. And we just wanted to invite people into our doors and get to know our neighborhood. Yeah, because Grimsby is a beautiful, like authentic main street.
Right. Now, where does your clientele come from, and who is your clientele?
Yeah, I love that we exist on all planes, right? So we have this local neighborhood that we're reaching out to, we're building roots in. And so we always welcome people to walk through our door and come and experience this. Come get a facial, pamper yourself, treat yourself, let's talk skincare. But then we also have our national, kind of wholesale people. So we sell to physicians, spas, medi-spas, small mom and pop shops, and then, larger businesses like well.ca, care products, or the detox market. And then we've grown really in the US as well. So we're just about to launch in Saks Fifth Avenue.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, Anthropologie, some really big, we just launched in Indigo, which is a great Canadian retailer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so
you buy a book and get some sunscreen while
that's
you go
right,
reading,
exactly. You can absolutely do that. So yeah, we love to partner with people where we can reach customers wherever they want to shop.
Oh, that's awesome. So the more access they have to it, the better off.
That's
obviously,
right.
the better off the business will be.
And being able to get that message out about like what is great skincare, what is great sunscreen. So we try and partner with as many people as we can.
That's awesome. So what about being in Grimsby, small town, shopping local? How important is that?
It's so important. I mean, first of all, for us to get to know our neighborhood and the people in our neighborhood is really important to us. We wanted to, bring an extension of our services where, especially in COVID, after COVID, you realize how important human touch is, right? So people walk in and we really try and make them feel special and take care of them and give them an experience and get to know the neighborhood. And even like we were just on Main Street on the weekend and seeing the local businesses and shopping there, and you see the people behind it, right? These people who have gone through a lot in the past 2 years and are resilient and still standing there. So
and they all came out at once, right? On the
exactly, yeah. That was always really important to us to just get to know people. I think that makes us a better business all around too. When you see people in real life, right? Not just through the internet, not just an e-commerce customer.
Oh, absolutely. But the bulk of your business is e-commerce, is that?
It's a little bit of both. So wholesale has grown a lot, and getting these big kind of retailers has been a huge growth area for us. And moving into the US, even as a Canadian company, like we still think of ourselves as a Canadian brand.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, but growing that way has been great. There you go. So what's the question again?
E-commerce.
E-commerce, right. So we do have our e-commerce customers, and some of them actually, we had such a great local company in Ottawa, and they have been able to stay with us through e-commerce, right? We still connect with them, and you can shop, anywhere in the world on e-commerce, so that's really
Absolutely.
nice. Like that global customer is so important. So it is a big part of what we do, but then, we like to have all the different touch points with our customer.
That's great. And what are some of your best-selling products?
So definitely people come to us for our sunscreens.
Okay.
we like to say they come to us for our sunscreens and they stay for the other skincare that we offer. And I think, so we have 3 great sunscreens, and they're really meant to be daily sunscreens that you love to use every day. People kind of have these misconceptions about mineral sunscreens, especially like, oh, they're hard to use, they're annoying to use, they're going to be whitening.
Yeah.
I don't like the experience. And so our goal as a company is to take all of those objections and build products that overcome them. So we want you to love the sunscreen and not make it feel like it's like the vegetable part of your skincare routine, right? Like something like, oh, I have to do it, but I don't want to do it. So sunscreens for sure. And then we have great skincare across 3 different brands or product lines. And we really, bring a lot of credibility, and we really try and help you customize a routine that's going to work for you.
So speaking to the males out there, probably most males, including myself, especially myself, lack that knowledge or even,
Yeah.
like, I'd be hard pressed to go for a facial somewhere.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, men are somewhat lucky that sometimes their skin is different than women's, right? You have certain things that make you a little bit more, resistant to things like dryness or whatever. But you still have issues. Yeah, but you still have issues, and men still have questions. And actually, it's funny. So, like my husband, right? I've seen how his skincare interest and IQ has grown,
right.
slowly evolved over time, right? Understanding that you still need things like hydration. You still need to protect your skin. Those are things that are important for everyone, because especially when we talk about sunscreen, right? We're not just talking about the aesthetics of how your skin looks, which some men do focus on, but we're also talking about the health of your skin. So protection against skin cancer and everything. Those are things that are universal, and that's what makes it a daily product. So if men ever have questions, they're welcome to come and enjoy.
Right.
And we can always, it's not really a feminine experience, it's really customized to the person as well. So we do have some male customers who come in and they'll enjoy different parts, they'll enjoy the facial steam or they'll enjoy the microderm just to soften.
Right.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Yeah, it feels good. It's like a moment to yourself, right? Everybody could use a moment to themselves.
And something that you mentioned about sunscreen, if I use sunscreen, I'm just using it when I need to. You said daily.
Right.
So people should be using sunscreen daily?
Yeah, so if you think about it, the two kind of wavelengths of light that we try to protect against, right? UVB, so there's more UVB light, the burning rays, and that's more in the summer, right? You're always worried about getting a sunburn in the summer. But UVA, the aging rays, which are also implicated in skincare, they're also implicated in skincare and also pigmentation, right? So as you get older, you start to accumulate sunspots, or kind of we call them sunspots, right? But they could be crusty, they could be little brown marks. Everybody accumulates those with a lifetime of sun exposure. That's UVA rays. And those are constant all year round. They don't really change summer or season. It doesn't matter if it's raining outside. My son today was like, there's no sun, Mom, I don't need sunscreen.
Yeah.
I was like, no. He's 3, so he can say it, but...
I'm with them on that one.
Yeah. So they are the same, they're constant year round. Doesn't matter if you're in Mexico or if you're in Canada. They come through windows. They come through your car window. So there's actually this great visual which people always refer to. It was a truck driver who always drove in the same seat. And so one side always received constant sun exposure and one side really didn't.
Right.
And you can see almost like a split between his face, the sun exposed side, and how it looked so much different than the side that didn't get exposed to the same kind of sun. So that's the classic visual, and he was a man, a truck driver. Yeah, right? It really does impact the look of your skin and skin cancer as we get older, but also UVA, even young women, right? Even young boys, especially with tanning beds, which is why we always recommend avoiding them.
Right.
Which is a lot of UVA directed at the skin. So it kind of shows up in these two groups of people where things like, skin cancer. And I know a lot of people think, skin cancer, it's a bad mole. You go to your dermatologist, they take it off, right? It doesn't sound like that bad a thing, but it can be a lot more, and it can be mentally a lot more, right? A lot of times they have to cut big sections out.
Self-conscious.
Right, you have to go to a plastic surgeon for them to cut it out. They have to tie the skin together if it's on the face, right? The scars that can be left over.
Right.
And then you're always worried about it spreading.
For sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so skin cancer, I know sometimes we're kind of casual about it. It doesn't sound like the other cancers out there, but it can be a big lifestyle impact.
Oh, for sure, and there's so much awareness created along that now that people used to go out and worship the sun, and now they're a little bit more cautious of how much time, when.
Exactly.
Stay away from maybe the 11 to 1 kind of thing in some areas. And
and it's also hats.
Absolutely.
Clothing.
And
sunscreen. Sunscreen is just part of it, right? But all of that, finding shade, all of that is a huge benefit to your overall skin health.
Now, when we talk SPF, 10, 15, 50, I'm not even sure how high it goes.
Yeah.
Is there a limit to how high it goes, and does a 30 work just as well as a 50, or? Yeah,
so SPF really relates to the UVB rays, those burning rays, a little bit of the UVA, but mostly UVB. So it's really talking about your ability to protect against sunburn. And so most people will say SPF 30 is the minimum. And then it can go to an SPF 50. It can go, even there's like SPF 100s. We've always told people SPF is actually kind of a flawed test, the way that we do
Right.
it. It can be not the best point of information to rely on, but it's one of the biggest thing on the bottle, right? So we always tell people, leave SPF as secondary. It's not that it's not important, but it's really not the whole picture. So if you go and you're looking for that 25% zinc oxide, that is really a better indicator of quality, even if it's only an SPF 30.
Right.
I would rather you have a 25% zinc SPF 30 because you're also most likely getting a higher UVA protection, which is really critical. Because rather than going and getting an SPF 100 and you think, oh, I'm fully protected, and you actually change your behavior, right? You stay out in the sun longer. You're like, I have an SPF 100. I don't need to go
Right.
inside, right? I'm not going to burn. I'm going to change the way that I would have normally acted. That's when you get into kind of a danger zone.
So it can give you a feeling of
A false sense of protection.
false sense of
Yeah.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we always say, look at the ingredients, focus on the active ingredient. And the best in North America to date is zinc oxide. There are other choices around the world that we just don't have access to right
Right.
now. But
Right.
so 25% zinc, find one that works for you, find the one that works for your kids.
Perfect. So Sarah, how would somebody get a hold of you and be able to reach out to you and
Yeah.
find out more information?
So we have our website, thesunscreencompany.com. Certainly there's lots of information there. We put blogs, everything. You can always, our phone number is there. And then if you want to come to the office or the studio here, the facial studio here in Grimsby, we have a separate section called L'Atelier. So you can go and you can actually book your appointment online with our esthetician. And you can also find us on Instagram at the Sunscreen Company. So however you like to interact with people, come on, we have lots of ways. But certainly thesunscreencompany.com is a great place to start.
Absolutely. And Sarah is located at 89 Main Street East in Grimsby. Beautiful house along Main Street as you head into Grimsby as you're heading west. So even drop in to see her. And I want to thank Sarah for educating us on the sunscreen and all the skincare products that are out there. Please take care of yourself during the summer especially, and use that skincare every day, not just when you go out into the sun. So again, thank you very much, Sarah. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
you being part of Local Leaders. This is Tara Cain on another episode of Local Leaders, and we'll see you next time.